Welcome back to La La Land on CRN Digital Talk. That's Nettie Liddell.
And that's Brett Chapin.
And we have a special surprise guest calling in.
That's right. And it is Phil Liddell on the line. Phil?
Good afternoon.
Hi. Hi, Phil. How you doing?
Pretty good. You guys sound great.
Oh,
good show.
Thanks, Phil. This is Nettie's dad, for anyone that doesn't know.
That's right. And he's also a big philanthropist, much like Tim Scanlon. He is on the chair of the Alzheimer's board. Aren't you, Phil?
Well, I'm on the board, but if I was on the chair, I'd probably topple over.
Well, that's okay, because I don't really speak English as a
So what are you
first
doing with
language
the
anyway.
Alzheimer's board, Phil?
Well, you know what? My wife and I decided a long time ago that there are certain things in this world that are worth pursuing. And we want to see this darn disease cured. And it's only going to get cured if we all get together, raise the level of consciousness, and raise a lot of money. And if we don't get it cured, it's just going to devastate this country and the world.
And I understand.
So tomorrow we've got a huge event.
Uh-huh.
It's called the Walk to End Alzheimer's. It's in Woodland Hills, California, at Warner Center Park. It's at 8 o'clock in the morning to noon. And we'd like everybody out there that's listening to come out and join us and walk to help us raise consciousness and money to beat this darn disease. It's a horrible disease.
Wow, wouldn't that be amazing if everybody could really get out there?
And is there a website, Phil, where people can find information about it?
Yeah, I guess you could go to www.alz.org, or let me see. I think it's there's even one more specific. It's www.alz. Gosh, you know what? I always just go to .org.
ALZ.org.
I will tell you this. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock at Warner Center Park, it's going to be an amazing event. The first ever San Fernando Valley Walk to End Alzheimer's. Oh, it's www.alz.org/California Southland.
Okay.
ALZ.org/California Southland.
Wow.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling us today, Phil.
That's right. Thanks for being an amazing, valuable person to the community. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for what you do, and I'm going to go back and listen to your show. It's wonderful.
Okay.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks. Bye.
Have a good afternoon.
Bye.
Phil Liddell.
See you tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Phil Liddell, everyone. We are also talking to Mr. David Ralph and Miss Jan Glassman.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
The producer-director team behind ARTS, Performing Arts Academy, and the Actors Repertory Theater of SEMI. Two people whose love for the arts is equaled only by their obvious love for each other.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I had an opportunity to become acquainted with ARTS. I worked on a production of West Side Story there a couple years ago and was absolutely blown away by what's done there. There is such great arts education for kids that goes on at ARTS. And Jan, how did ARTS begin? Tell me a little bit about the start of ARTS.
Wow. We're going back into ancient history now. Well, when I moved out to Simi Valley and had kids, I in 1981 or 1982, I realized that there was really nothing going on in terms of arts education for children, and I vowed that they would have a similar arts upbringing as I did when I, in Los Angeles. And I had my kids enrolled in a music school where they were learning to play piano. And a couple of the other mothers who had their kids there as well. And I got together in my living room and we started a theater arts group for kids called Performing Arts Workshops, PAW. That was in 1989. And we put together a musical theater program for little ones, 8 to 12 years old in the summertime. And we were fortunate enough to have been acquainted with Patsy Swayze, who had her dancer studio out there at the time. And she allowed us to use her studio, and we put together a 6-week program. And these kids did a musical theater production that was an original production that was written by the music teacher that was involved. And it was fantastic. We had great publicity, and it was a big deal because there was nothing for kids out there. And in the way of arts education, as I said. And we subsequently became an educational wing of a larger organization, which became our umbrella organization, the Simi Valley Cultural Association, which has been around since 1971. And then let me fast forward. In 1995, the city opened a facility on Los Angeles Avenue, the Simi Valley Cultural Arts Center, and we moved our program over to that facility and started out doing youth theater there, and it eventually grew into what it is today, which is a very large community theater company. I guess you could call it a regional theater company now, and we do 4 shows a year at the Cultural Arts Center, and we forged a very strong relationship with them and the city, and we do a lot of other outreach programs in the community, et cetera, et cetera. We can talk about that later, but so we've now it's 1995, and we've opened this production of Your Good Man, Charlie Brown, and that started the whole ball rolling, and now we're in the middle of Jesus Christ Superstar 16 years later.
And still growing strong 16
still
years
growing
later.
Very strong. We're now a regional theater company, and I'll, hire an equity actor every so often if it's appropriate, and we're going in the right direction, so we must be doing something right.
You sure are. I came out there last night, actually, and I had the opportunity to see Jesus Christ Superstar there at the Simi Valley Cultural Arts Center. Just a fantastic production. Unfortunately, it only has 2 performances left, guys. So if you want to see Jesus Christ Superstar, go to simi-arts.org, and you can buy tickets and find information about that.
See it today.
See it today.
Right. Oh, and by the way, David Ralph directed Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yes, he did, and did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Now, the thing that kind of struck me always too about Simi that was interesting is it's not a huge city, but arts is so prevalent in the city. It seems to be something that's really important to the residents and really important to the community.
When I first came there brought there to direct a play, my friends.
Go on.
My friend said, "Why are you going to Simi Valley? The only thing you can sell tickets for is a tractor pull." But I met people there who were just remarkable, and so I stayed there, and then the city built this performing arts center that does about 400 events a year. Serves about 45,000 people a year.
It's an incredible area. We're going to talk a little bit more about that when we come back on La La Land with Brett and Nettie on CRN Digital Talk.
It's Brett Chapin,
And that's Nettie Liddell.
the dynamic duo from La La Land with Brett